Hi everyone and welcome to this Discovery webinar for the National Arts Fundraising School. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Bernard today, and together we're going to run you through what we think you're going to get out of your investment in the National Arts Fundraising School. So my name is Dana Segal. I'm the Deputy Director of the National Arts Fundraising School. I've been with the team now for the last 6 years, training people like you in essential fundraising skills. And a lot of my specialisms lie in fundraising strategy, trusts and foundations fundraising, so grant writing and bid writing, bequests, so legacies, gifts and wills, in memoriam giving, and of course digital fundraising, which has become increasingly more and more important as we work in online and remote settings. I come as a background, my background is in fundraising, and I've been a fundraiser for very, very large arts organizations, as well as very small grassroots startup arts organizations across the full spectrum of art forms. So performing arts, visual arts, museums, galleries, circus, puppetry, you name it. I've probably raised funds for it if it's an art form. So delighted to be here with you today, and delighted to also introduce my colleague Bernard. Bernard, do you want to tell them a little bit about you?
Yeah, Dana, thanks so much for that. My name's Bernard Ross. I'm a school director, interested in, some of them are overlapping a wee bit with Dana, but also with a specialism in strategy, high net worth individual, recognising the enormous increased wealth there is in this country that's available to the arts. Very, very interested in the business of individuals and how we use our audiences or those who care about our work to bring people in. And a big fan, as I think Dana is as well, on decision science. How can we use psychology to do to bring an extra dimension to our work? In terms of projects, £47 million for Paisley Museum in Paisley, going to be open soon. Get yourself there. And at the other end, also work with Dana on the strategy for the South Bank Centre. But also work a lot with we organisations. £10,000, £15,000 here. Working at the moment with the Playhouse in Derry, to help them raise money for some of their important work. So I hope we make quite a good little team, but also we're going to introduce some of our other colleagues further down the road who'll be involved in the school. Anyway, let's get started on what we're going to cover. Quick summary, I think, about what are you investing in? Okay, here are some figures about the schools. We've been going for 33 years. We've got 26 different modules, 7 which are going to be updated on this occasion. The school runs for kind of 7 days. There's a 6-day intense period done in 1.5 days over 4 weeks, and then a bit at the end and a bit at the start. You get 12 months when we're very happy to give you money back if the program doesn't work out and you don't get the investment back. And also to give you a sense that over the 33 years, we've helped kind of something like 2,500 fundraisers, trained them, and raise sums in excess of £400 million. So this is a program that works. I think we can reassure you. So that's what we're offering. It's intense. It's sometimes enjoyable, but the big thing is that it works. Dana, I think you're going to tell us about 4 different topics. I think you're going to introduce the topics, but just to say, we're going to answer 4 questions in this webinar. What's different about the school? There are so many programs out there, many of them subsidized, much cheaper. This is not just the most intensive program, possibly the most expensive program you're going to come on. What's different that makes it worthwhile? Who comes on the program? So you might be sitting there as an independent producer, as a filmmaker, as somebody who runs a theatre, who's somebody who would like to have a theatre but currently travels around the country. As Dana said, you may be doing circus, or you may be involved in the whole world of digital. Will you be more like other people or less like other people? I think we want to reassure you about that in terms of the people who come. How do you make sure that you get the investment? This is not just a cookie cutter approach, that it's targeted towards you. And then the last question, about, okay, so it's 7 days spread it over some weeks on the online version. How do we organize it to make sure that it really works for you?
Absolutely. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what makes this course so different, what makes the National Arts Fundraising School different to other training courses and learning opportunities that you have. So we think that there are 5 things that you will get on this program that you won't get anywhere else. The first of those things is a strategic approach. So every session is really carefully designed to stay with you long after the school. We use a mixture of expert presentations, group exercises, activities, coaching, case studies, online research, as well as reading and reflecting times. And this range of approaches guarantees that you learn and retain a huge amount in a relatively short period of time that you can continue to use long after the week course as well. The second is that the school is led by expert trainers. Bernard, my colleague here, is actually Europe's leading fundraising consultant. He's designed fundraising programs to raise things from 5,000 to 5 billion. And he's assisted by lots of fantastic tutors. We have a really broad range of experience. Lots of us continually actively fundraising for arts and cultural causes as we teach you. So the most up-to-date learning between all of us as well. So the third aspect we think that makes it unique is that this is not just about theory. This is a practically led course. We'll show you how the models and approaches are relevant to your organization and how to best use them to overcome challenges and build on those opportunities. So you'll be building your strategy, building your portfolio as you go along the course over the weeks, leaving you with a pretty well-developed action plan to put in place on your return to work as well. And what we've noticed from the online courses that we've been running so far is that people are actioning things immediately, almost the next day between the weeks where they're learning with us as well. And we also make sure that we bring you practical solutions and ideas, not just from the arts and cultural sector, but also from mainstream charities as well. We're interested in bringing the best learning from outside the sector as well as from within. The fourth thing that we think is different is the 180 days of support that you get following the course. So we reinforce all the program content to help you consolidate that learning over another 180 days of support. And to be honest, even years to come, but I'll touch on that in a moment. And the key thing as well is that we have a comprehensive 350-page workbook that will enable you to continue to tap into the learning and it's continued support beyond that as well to make sure that you actually have the support to implement the strategy and the action plan that you've developed on the course in your organization. The fifth is the ongoing development. You become a part of our NAFS alumni, you join our Facebook group, you come to our regular events, and there's lots of opportunities to continue learning, training, and engaging with what we do, staying up to date with the latest developments, and also meeting your peers and other people who've been through the program and had lots of success and have lots of learning that they want to share as well. So I said that we have 5 things, but in truth, there's a final thing, and that's that money back guarantee. We are so confident that what you will learn will bring you those tangible results that we offer a unique money back guarantee. We're the only course that does it. And if you don't raise a sum at least equal to the school fee within 12 months of completing the program, we will refund you that fee, and that's guaranteed. That's how strongly we believe in what we're doing. Good. So I'm going to hand over to Bernard now, who's going to tell us a little bit about who comes on NAFS and what do they get out of the program.
Well, I think you and I are slightly different, Dana. So that's maybe reflecting a place. People come from all over. We get people from with really good Scottish accents, and people whose Scottish accents like yours are slightly rubbish, but there you go. We get people from Wales, from the far south, everywhere, not just in the UK, actually. Interesting, I think on the current program, we've got people there from Taiwan. We've recently had people from Portugal, from Costa Rica, from Germany, from Austria. So you need to be able to have a grasp, a working knowledge of English, because the working knowledge of the working language of the school is English. But the techniques and approaches, although focused around the UK, are actually useful for people from all over. Most of the people look kind of, I hope you can find somebody there who looks a little bit like you. That's me on the far left there, I think, and you on the far right, Dana. That's sadly taken on the residential program, which we love and is in a beautiful place. We're focusing today on the online program, but you can see people there of different ages, different seniorities, different skills. I think, Dana, it's worth saying you wouldn't necessarily know what those people do, but I think the next slide tells you a little bit about the kind of background they come from.
Absolutely. And as I said, we've had loads of art forms, every sort of art form, as well as people coming from archives, from libraries, from local authorities. So It's exactly the same. We really do have a really broad range of people coming on the course. You are likely to find some sort of kindred spirit on this course, whether it's the art form that you work in, or maybe the areas that you work in, or the type of people that you support through your programs, or maybe the geographic areas that you come from or you work in. So, everything from festivals to film, visual arts. Lots of great people coming in from local authorities recently as well.
Yeah, I think we have to give a big shout out to local authorities and also to leisure trusts, which I think are becoming increasingly important, because they're providing a big backbone for lots of cultural activities. So really happy to welcome, like I said, people from local authorities. And I think we do some special sessions for those as well to make them feel loved and to help donors to love them.
Absolutely. And I think also, it's not necessarily just people who are quote unquote within an established organization. There's lots of freelance creatives, artists, producers, practitioners who come on the course to develop their skills to access some of those project funds that they need.
To get started even.
Mm-hmm. And It's not just the UK, is it, Bernard?
No, absolutely. It's turning into slightly morning breakfast show. It's not with cues like that, but there's a list of some of the countries that we've seen people from. I mean, Zimbabwe, tough place to raise money for, but the National Cultural Museum there helping to raise money. South Africa, Costa Rica, beautiful piece of feedback recently from Dasha, one of our favorite delegates from Russia. We've had quite a few delegates from Russia. She came in the program. Learned to do pitches, went back and made a pitch to one of the wealthier people in Russia, super excitedly wrote to us and said, I've just got the equivalent really of £1.5 million for a fantastic sculpture museum in Russia, which I think you and I are both hoping to visit someday soon as part of a research program. So, if you're out there and you are not in the UK, we would so love, we're sorry we left the EU. Some of us didn't want to do that. I think it's fair to say we'd love to have you involved, and I think you can learn some stuff from it.
Couldn't agree more.
And also in terms of seniority, so fantastic woman on the right. What I'm a big fan of Ruth Brock, who runs a fantastic organisation called Shakespeare Schools Foundation, basically giving young people confidence and communication skills by being involved in performance of Shakespeare. Involving something like 100,000 young people up and down the country. Ruth, as the CEO, came on the program arguing that she had to understand how fundraising worked in order to be able to supervise her fundraising team. So there's someone with a team who do fundraising. She came to understand what it's like. Ahmed, another one of my favorite delegates, knew nothing about fundraising, worked for The Stage, which is a commercial organization, saying, could they raise money for a charitable bit of their work, helping young people, especially young people from excluded communities, get into theatre as actors, as lighting directors, as dramaturges or whatever. And he also benefited from it. So interesting people at opposite ends of their career and opposite ends of experience, again, benefited from the school. You'll fit in, I think, is the guarantee.
Absolutely.
And then just, I love some of these quotes we get in which come in. You notice that we don't advertise the program saying, oh my God, it's so enjoyable. I mean, I think it is enjoyable, Dana. We work quite hard to do that, it'd be fair to say. But actually, the acid test of any fundraising program is, do people raise money? Yeah. One, for example, down the bottom there from Grant and Paisley, really struggling initially to raise money for a fantastic young people's theatre in Paisley, goes back and has success in his first 3 applications and also gets in some major donors. Not just quick fits there, lovely quotation there about raising over £5.6 million. So people raising significant money, not just instantly, but over a period of time. So that's why we can offer the guarantee, I think, is just because people do deliver results.
Absolutely. Good. And I suppose what we want to talk about now is how do we make sure that you will get the most from your investment? So how have we set things up to make sure that you're really getting everything that you need out of the program? So we've been really careful and thought very carefully about how we meet your needs, both before, during, and after the intensive part of the course is complete. And the starting point is very much this discovery webinar, enabling you, giving you a chance to figure out, okay, is this the program for me? Does this suit my needs? Are there any questions that I need clarifying before I maybe commit? And then what we do is we have a detailed online questionnaire. So we get to understand everyone who's going to come on the course. And off the back of that, we design and redesign and reconfigure the program to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all the people who are arriving. So, if we've got a particular cohort of people coming from local authorities, that's where Bernard mentioned earlier, we'll jump in, we'll add in some sessions or some specific information to support those types of people as well. And we've recently had a cohort with lots of freelancers. So we've added in some additional extra sessions about how to manage freelance careers in addition to the learning from the fundraising that we've done. So lots of other opportunities to learn extra bespoke bits of information. Then we have those intensive 7 days worth of tuition, which is spread over a number of weeks, which cover almost every aspect of fundraising, whether it's individual giving, trusts and foundations, how to work with businesses to unlock partnerships, sponsorship opportunities, legacies, digital, we cover it all. And that really gives you the opportunity to dive deep into the theory, the practice, the case studies that you need. Then, as I said earlier, we have 6 months of follow-up time, and you absolutely have access to the team for any bits of online or telephone advice. We also offer specific coaching sessions pre and post the school as well, to have some more individual bespoke time with each of us tutors as well. And then, as I mentioned, the support really never ends. You become part of our alumni group, joining us on social media, coming to our alumni meetups, both online and in person, and get regular advice, updates, and other training and support opportunities from us as and when they come up as well.
It's pretty thorough, Dana, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, it's interesting because even a few people on the previous slide, so even just the other day I saw Sarah Shooter, who came to a cultural conference. We had Becky Chapman from Diversity speaking at it, and it's interesting to see that actually they continue to become really, really engaged in the cultural sector and continue to learn, develop, grow, and always continue to credit NAFs as well as being a huge part of it.
Very generous of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how do we structure the school for best learning? I mentioned that there are loads and loads of things that we're going to cover across those sort of 7 days worth of tuition, or 4 weeks if you're on the online program. And there are, a lot of integrated but comprehensive modules that we will cover with you. So, Bernard, what are some of your favourite things?
I was thinking that this is a bit like bingo. I love it all, but I'm kind of very, very keen on decision science. You and I share a passion for that area. So that's bringing the science of what we now know about how people make decisions and saying, how can we apply that to, well, it kind of applies to everything, doesn't it? The way you organize your website for fundraising, the way you put together a case for sport. So that's kind of pretty leading edge. It's beyond best practice. It's what we call next practice. I'm trying to guess what you're a big fan of from that session.
Well, I mean, I'm very passionate about bequests, gifts and wills. It is one of the growing areas of fundraising. We're about to see the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of humankind, and it also happens to be by the most generous generation that we've had so far. So they're going to become increasingly important, and I think cultural organizations grossly underestimate the opportunity in this area. So I often do a big job of campaigning for that in this module. But I also really love some of the practical sessions about trusts and foundations fundraising, like how to write great applications. I think it's one of those areas that people have a lot of experience in, and they come on the course saying, yes, I've done bids. But they often leave those modules going, oh my goodness, my bid writing is going to be so much better now. And it's just that improvement of skill as well as learning new skills that people get.
Yeah, and it's very tempting to say, oh, I know how to do that, and actually to become a bit cookie cutter about it. Whereas I think what you're trying to do is to make people really interested in a different way. But I think all the modules are really interesting. And just to stress for people is you don't have to attend them all. You are allowed to miss out bits that you think maybe aren't relevant to you, although also to accept that it's a training course and in years to come, in the same way as 5 years ago, probably people have said legacies, bequests. Is that interesting to me? And now people are absolutely seeing it, as you say, as a big opportunity.
Absolutely.
Should we show how it fits into the overall bit, the overall shape of the program?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, there'll be one-to-one preschool coaching where we'll meet each of you and you'll be part of one of your home teams with one of your tutors. And then we have some key ideas onboarding webinars, again, to prepare you for the experience of the intensive course. Then you'll see there's a quite robust program across a number of days. and a number of weeks tend to be either kind of full days with lots of breaks integrated or half-day programs. And then at the back of that, again, another post-school coaching session, which gives you actually, I think technically about 15% or so more time than you would do on the residential program as well as some more tailored individual support as well. So we really boosted the online program in recognition of that more intensive experience and also individualized experience to give people online as well.
Yeah, it's a good mix. And then it's not all just talking like this. This is a bit one-way-ish, but
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I think there's lots of different aspects of what we do. So, you know, there's some personal reflection in there. There's some live solicitation. So we definitely challenge you to have a go at doing some of this fundraising while it's happening. Lots around other specific skills. For example, online communication skills. How do I convey myself? How do I convey my organization online successfully to potential donors? So lots of interesting different ways of doing things, and lots of bits of personal check-in time as well. So making sure that, you know, you're capturing the learning as you need as you go across the 4-week program as well.
So it doesn't really matter what your learning style is. I think you'll have the full range of different learning opportunities. But we shouldn't forget the residential program.
Absolutely.
So there's a separate webinar you can look up for the residential program, but that's what the intense 6 days on site looks like there, and you can see lots of the same kind of things. Again, I think, Dana, you can bring up the different learning opportunities there. Mm-hmm. It's a different kind of experience. We're not going to talk about it so much today, but it's coming away for a week, just focusing on fundraising, 9 a.m, sometimes till 9 p.m. It's a different thing and a good thing. Make your choice, whatever works for you. Residential, we've got that in November, or September is the next online version that we're running.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Good. So what's the kind of working style in the school online? Well, I guess what we would say, the residential is smaller groups. So online is more like a group of 20. Within that group of 20, you'll be in a home team. So in a team of about 5 or 4, and you'll have a dedicated tutor who'll be looking after your journey on the program as well. And as I said, there's lots of check-ins, office hours, for example, will kind of make available time for group conversations in your home teams or individual in your home teams as well. So lots of intensive little points, as well as, of course, the structured learning program and delivery, which tend to be in sort of 90-minute chunks with significant breaks as well, recognizing the need for that space and time as we digest some stuff online as well. And I guess we also like to make sure that, we understand that especially life at the moment can be complex. We might need to jump away for a moment. We might need to go answer the door. We might not be available. So we do record all of the live sessions that we deliver online. And we love to deliver live online because we think it gives a better sense of learning. We can interact better. This isn't just watching a webinar. However, it's also really important for us that you have access to that afterwards. So we keep everything on demand, and we like to call it our sort of NAFS flicks, if you like. So if you want to come back and rewatch some of the content from the live session, you can absolutely do that throughout the course as well.
Good. Yeah, and lots of people, I think, taking advantage of that, just to be able to, especially working in other time zones. Some of our international delegates able to do that, but great that it is on demand. And of course, Dan has already mentioned, like, a big, thick manual, which we send you in the post. Now, I know that we also put it online as a PDF, but actually, we know from experience that people like to have that big piece of material there so they can take notes as they watch the session. So you can actually watch the session, reflect on what's written down, and take notes which relate to you. We're determined to make sure this is as powerful a learning experience as we can make it. And you get lots of stuff there: planning frameworks, follow-up contacts, a development panel, everything you could want to know on the program.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's party night. So, we want to make sure that this also has a little bit of social element to it, get to know each other as well. So we like to celebrate some of your achievements and what you've done in the course so far by having a little bit of a either in-person party on the residential or an online party night on the online program, which people have been really enjoying. So we'll do something fun.
We do some kind of pub quizzy things and some,
exactly.
Just kind of fun. It's like an hour and a half. an hour and a half. It's not a long
Yeah.
time. And as Dan already mentioned, that 180 day support, you can call up, you can ask us and say, should I do this? Should I do that? I'm having a challenge with my board. I've had this bit of feedback. What do you think? We're there for you to make sure that you succeed. And then when you do succeed, we want to recognize that. So we've got a little award ceremony.
We do indeed. And actually, I think, part of the ongoing development, as we said, with the alumni events, private Facebook and LinkedIn groups, constant blogs, downloads, advice, funding, heads up, all that sort of stuff is part of, I suppose, the ongoing development that happens afterwards as well with the program. And yes, we do have also our annual fundraising awards. We call it the MCs Awards, which celebrates excellence in arts and cultural fundraising. We've been running them for the last about four or 5 years now, probably, isn't it? And it's brilliant. It's such a great opportunity for our alumni to, just have another moment where they recognize the skills, the talent, the money that they've raised, the relationship they've developed with funders as well. So a really nice thing to do as well as that. And another way to continue to engage with us beyond the program too.
And then calm, peace of mind. You can say to your boss, or your funding agency or one of your donors who's going to pay for you to do this program, there's a money back guarantee. If you didn't raise at least the money that you paid for the course, we will refund your money. So that should give you some peace of mind. And I mean, even if you think that's not a big thing, hey, nobody else does it. We do it because we are so confident we will deliver not just that result, but a much higher one. I think we're going to come to the end now. So
we are. So we'd love to hear from you if you've got any questions. We'd love to have a little bit of a conversation now, or of course, please feel free to contact us using that contact information below. But yeah, any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.